If you love the amazing color combinations you can create with the stamp market, then you need to see this video. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing the latest release of the Stamp Market's cardstock and ink colors, as well as some of their new stamps and dies. First, let's take a look at the new colors they sent me as well as the new supplies so you can see what I'll be working with today. First up, let's take a look at the new cardstock colors and ink colors. I have the 24 packs of cardstock as well as the full-size ink pads. They also come in ink cubes. The new colors are Blossom, Petal, DIJON, and Gumdrop. Now, these colors fit in beautifully with the rest of the line, but they also work really well together for a fresh color combination of Christmas cards. This new color release also has an enamel dots set. You can see the DIJON, Petal, Blossom, Gumdrop, and then you also get white and clear enamel dots in this set. Now let's take a look at the stamps and dies that I'll be using today. First up is the Nice List stamps and dies. These are super fun and whimsical. I love the font, the shape of them, and also things like You're on the Naughty List make them just really a fun set to have and something totally different. Next up is Santa's Greetings stamps and dies. These are 4 great sentiments. Again, the Stamp Market fonts are just so unique and fun, and the dies cut them all out. Next up is the Santa cover die. Perfectly fits on an A2 card. You could use it to make a shaker, or you could use the beard area to hold a sentiment, which is what I'm going to do. Then we have the nested wavy banners dies. I love these wavy banners. You could use them on skewers to make gift toppers, or you could just use them on cards as well. Then we have the Fa La La cover die. Again, perfectly fits on an A2 card, but these large letters could also make a great 5x7. This is just a fun way to fill a card quickly and easily with some die cutting. Now let's try out some fresh new color combinations to create Christmas cards. For this first card, we're going to use the Santa's Greetings dies and stamps. I'm going to stamp on some Petal cardstock with the Ho 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 stamp from that Santa's Greetings stamp set. I'm going to treat this cardstock with anti-static powder, and then I'm going to stamp it with the Stamp Market white pigment ink. And they recommend when you're doing white heat embossing to use their white pigment ink, and I've found it to be really wonderful because even the areas that maybe your embossing powder doesn't stick perfectly is already covered with white. So you don't really see any cardstock color coming through because you have the white ink combined with the white embossing powder. So I'm just going to tap off the excess and I'm going to heat set it. And you could see I was going from behind. That's because the cardstock was warping a little bit. So if it starts to warp from the front, you can always switch it to behind and it'll warp the other way and straighten it out. Okay, I'm going to use the matching dies and I'm going to put them right in place. They are very easy to line up. That's another thing I love about the Stamp Market sentiment dies. I layered some of the new Gumdrop cardstock over a piece of Petal cardstock, and you can see I cut out the Santa cover die in cardstock and fun foam. This way I could layer the cardstock over the fun foam and get easy and quick dimension without having to mess with pieces of foam tape. So the cover die comes with the hat, the beard, and then there's also the pom-pom for the hat and the brim for the hat to layer. So you can create a really layered and cute look. The ho 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 cuts out each word individually, so I cut those out of fun foam as well, so I could pop up that sentiment off the beard. And now I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere down the pom-pom and the hat brim down to that hat, and you can see how you can place it so that it will fit perfectly on an A2 card. But again, this is a larger size die, so you could make a larger size card if you wish. As I said, the beard is the perfect place to put a fun sentiment like this, or you could cut out the beard and make it into a shaker. I'm going to use a little bit of a sticky glue pen on the pom-pom and also on the hat brim. So I'm just going to color in with the sticky glue pen, and then I'm going to pour some really fine sparkling white glitter. This is from Simon Says Stamp, and it is their unicorn glitter. So I'm just going to wipe off the excess, but you can see that that little hint of glitter just adds a perfect amount of shine, and the sticky glue pen is really great for just getting a little bit of glue exactly where you want it, and also it dries so quickly. So if you had a really thick application of a liquid glue here, it would take a while to dry and you'd have to be really careful with it for a while, and I have no patience. So sticky glue pen always works for me. Little dry paintbrush to just swipe off that excess glitter, and now I'm ready to put this together. So since this is foam on the back, I am going to use liquid adhesive to adhere it down to the cardstock, and that I'm just going to use a little bit kind of everywhere around that foam and then just place it down. This is such a cute, fun card. This could definitely be reproduced several times. I did add some of the white enamel dots just for a little extra interest and fun on that beard around the sentiment. Kind of reminds you of snow falling as well, but just a really fun card to create. And I love that little hint of glitter on that pom-pom and hat brim, and it was so easy to add. For this next card, I'm going to start out with the Tiny Tile cover die. This is an older cover die from the stamp market. I've always loved it. It creates just a great subtle hint of texture in the background, especially if you do a white on white. So I am just using my Spellbinders 2-in-1 to poke out some excess of those little spots that didn't all just fall out. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue in some of the thicker areas. I make sure to get liquid glue on the corners so that the cardstock doesn't peel up on the corner. That's the first place I feel like it tries to. Now I'm going to cut out the Fa La La cover die out of all 4 new colors of cardstock. So I have Dijon, Gumdrop, Petal, and Blossom cut out of the entire Fa La La cover die. Now, this is a technique I have seen used on the Stamp Market's website, and I absolutely love it. Because they have so many wonderful colors of inks and cardstocks, they do this thing where they layer the die cuts on top of each other so that you can see a hint of each color behind the top. And I think that's brilliant, and it's a great way to use their cardstock. So I decided to do this for the Fa La La. Each letter is going to have a different orientation. So each letter is going to have a different color on top. And then I'm going to have the Blossom, then Gumdrop, then Petal, and then Dijon. And then I'll just flip the one that's on top and the rest will go in the same order. So this is going to create a fun color combination in the card itself and in each letter. And then I just use some liquid glue to adhere this down just to make sure these guys stay, because they are pretty thick when you get 4 of them together. So this would heavy up your card a little bit if you were sending it, but I don't think it would be so much that you would have to add too much extra postage. It's not super heavy. It's not like a thick shaker card, but it does add a little bit of weight. Once all of those letters are placed on there, I am going to use those matching enamel dots to put 2 dots on each straight part of the letter. So I have the Blossom enamel dots on the F, the Petal enamel dots on the L, the Gumdrop enamel dots on the larger L, and the Dijon enamel dots on the small a. And then I just repeated the Blossom on top for that last A because I needed one more combination. So again, really fast, cute, fun, and I love that color combination together. These are the wavy banners dies, and I'm going to use those instead of using them on a skewer like you would do here and placing it on a gift. I'm going to use the fold. So I am actually going to use my bone folder to fold them all down. You could cut them off if you just want to use them on a card. I'm going to use some of the stamps from the Nice List stamp set. So each banner is going to have its own stamp and sentiment, and I'm going to layer them on top of each other. So I have things like ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, you're on the naughty list, you're on the nice list. And I'm going to cut everything out with the matching dies. Again, even the teeny tiny little fonts have matching dies, so you can pop them up if you want to. I'm not going to in this card. For the background, I'm going to use Cherry Kisses, Gumdrop cardstock, and then the new PETAL cardstock as well. So I'm going to create a tri-colored background, and then I'm using a lot of those colors on the banners as well. Like I said, I am not popping these up, but I did want the white banner background, and I wanted the colorful ink stamps. That's why I stamped them, die cut them, and now I'm adhering them down onto the banners. And you can see each size banner has a different sentiment. Now I'm going to use some really strong adhesive, and I'm going to layer the banner's tabs on top of each other. So each time I add another banner, I'm going to add more adhesive and then place the next one on top. If you have that special red tape that is super, super strong, that would be great for this. I just was out of it. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm using a lot of tape runner to adhere mine down, but I would definitely recommend something even a little bit stronger like that red tape. That is great. So now I'm going to put the tape runner again on that back tab and then place it down onto the card front. So you can see you can kind of flip through the banners and you go from Merry Christmas to ho 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 to you're on the nice list to you're on the naughty list. So it's a little bit of an interactive card. It's just a good way to use up all those sentiments on one card, which I thought was fun. I did use the Santa cover die to make another little Santa hat and place that right on that last banner that says you're on the naughty list. And I did adhere that one down to the cardstock so that it wouldn't flip up as well. So just the three on top flip up. And again, just a fun, cute, different Christmas card. I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of having cardstock and inks that match. If you are too, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see the previous release of the Stamp Market's cardstocks and inks, I'm going to link to a live that I filmed over here. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. My throat just made a weird noise. Okay, one more time. Okay, that's fine.